I am leery of otherworldly gifts that disappoint. And perhaps that is why Christmas and other holidays have come to mean less and less to me as the years have worn on. To be honest, I still love the feeling of Christmas. It's a warm feeling. And sometimes I feel it whenever I'm around other people who are celebrating Christmas. And I can see the good things in it. The giving, the remembrance of Christ, and the miracle that surrounded his birth, and all of that, and the generosity. And so I am careful not to renounce the holiday, or any tradition, as evil, at least in a holistic sense. Because just like groups of people, groups of traditions that kind of surround a certain time of year or a certain set of circumstances are rarely all bad or all good. And my experience has been that when people denounce a thing and teach their children to do the same, that it never lasts. Rarely, anyways. And actually, I don't think that I've seen an instance where it has lasted from one generation to the next. Because inevitably the children come to realize that there is good in that tradition, despite the bad. But all the same, I'm leery of the promise of unseen gifts which disappoint. I remember when I was young that I loved Christmas just like all kids do. Looked forward to it every year and reveled in the season. It was so different. Spiritually, it was different. And by spiritually, I think I'm pointing to the unseen feeling. It was as if it drew you close to something warm. In the midst of the winter season, it drew you towards something warm and something true. And yet, every year, after opening the presents, there would settle in a feeling of depression. I don't know if anybody else experiences this or has experienced this like I did when I was young. I had the same experience after eating Thanksgiving dinner. It was kind of as if it was built up to be more than what it was. And it was a strange thing to feel. Since I appreciated my presents, I often was very happy about what I got. And yet it was as if the whole season there had been a build-up, a promised unseen gift, which that's what the gifts under the tree are. You can't see the gifts until the day that you open them. And all the while that you're expecting, you are participating in generous thoughts and generous acts. You're remembering the story. You're singing the songs. And worshiping God in a way that you don't do the rest of the year. Not to say that our lives may be absent of worship throughout the rest of the year, but it is a distinct type of worship during the Christmas season. And then the day finally comes. And the presents, the different things that everybody planned for, which have been all hidden all this time, are opened up and revealed. And perhaps it's because they kind of fade in comparison to the experience of the build-up. I don't know. And maybe it's in the hiding. This hidden thing that's finally revealed just cannot compare with the hidden things of a higher way of being. The things that come out of the hidden place that manifest themselves in the whole month of December. The songs, the worship, the family, the generosity. Those things flow out continuously from the unseen place. And we tap into it for a little while at Christmas time, or at least I used to. I don't really anymore. Except wherein that spirit happens to be there at any particular time of year. But the gifts of worldly things, I just wonder if it's a bit of a mistake to mimic that eternal order, hiding and then revealing, but with nothing more to show for our revealing than some tangible thing that rust can corrupt. Is that what it is? I recently heard that dopamine, the brain chemical, is released in the process of moving towards a goal, moving towards an unseen thing which is coming. And the scientist who was studying it suggested that we not celebrate too much, because just as we go high on dopamine, we experience a low afterwards. And to the degree that we go high, to that degree we go low. The higher we go, the further we can fall. I don't know if we necessarily fall. Perhaps some people are more prone to it, but he said that that is the way that the brain works. So he recommended not celebrating too much. And for these reasons, I wonder if some of these traditions will eventually fall away as there dawns a more sustainable model, a more sustainable way of living, wherein our lives become one thing, and wherein through experience we are brought to a change of focus. I think that one day we will look back and say something like, "Hey, do you remember back when we used to celebrate Christmas?" And we'll be like, "Yeah, I do remember that." And sometimes we'll say, "Yeah, that was nice. Remember that one Christmas? And how good it felt, and all the preparations we made, and the special gifts, or the songs." But at the same time, and perhaps in the next breath, we'll say, "Yeah, I'm so grateful we don't do that anymore."